Mental Body Projection Report. August 15, 1968. It was a half-moon Thursday. I remember it well. I used to live at 84 Lido Street in São Paulo. It is around Santo Amaro. This street was wonderful because it was a dirt road. It was not paved. That was really cool for me. There were bushes in front of the house, on the right. I went to bed. Here it says I went to bed at 10 o'clock at night, then, a note written 11 o'clock at night, so that's what I'm going to consider. What happened? I lay down to do the body relaxation and get out. It didn't take long. It took me about 5 minutes. I was alone in the bedroom, which I shared with my brother. About 5 minutes after lying down, the acceleration of the chakras got very high. There was a crack. It felt like the house had cracked in the middle. I got out in astral body projection, but there was a lot of noise. The noise I'm talking about is because I could hear a lot of noise. I don't know for sure, but from the experiences I have, I believe I left at a higher level of perception of astral projection. At that moment. Then you hear things that are 1 kilometer away. I stayed in that condition, swinging. I kept swinging, as if I was spinning too. Suddenly, everything sped up even more. Then, there was a strong snap and a hiss. But they didn't stop. The snap continued, as if there were an echo, but the echo was at the same noise level. And the hiss too. It was as if I were moving from one level to another. A level of something. To talk about it, and explain it in detail, you have to feel it. I felt that I was moving from one dimension to another. This moving space seemed to be very wide, because it kept happening. Then it was all over. There was absolute silence. A silence of the universe. It seemed I was inside. I was a ball of energy. That's how I felt. I'm not saying that happened, but that was how I felt. And my sight, my hearing, and all my perceptions were very high. I could see consciousnesses. There wasn't a place, or a house. It was just an energetic locality, where there were consciousnesses, and I knew they were there. I could communicate with them if I wanted to. They seemed to be taking care of themselves for some reason. I was, at this point, like in a limbo. I was standing there, floating. I could slowly turn around, and see energies and consciousnesses of indescribable colors. I can't describe it. It's something that our sight doesn't have that perception. But deep down, I saw some things that looked like cathedrals, or castles, or mountains. I stared at them passing by in the background. It was very sublime. Then, I noticed that it had nothing to do with what I was thinking. I thought there could be a building in the background. But there was not. What they had there were energies that were rising, and I saw it that way. I couldn't see very clearly, or any shapes, because there were no shapes. They were energies rising slowly. These energies were rising, and I was watching. It was a peaceful and happy sensation, and above all, a sensation of liberation. Something remarkable happened. Me, in that environment, having all this perception, and turning slowly. It was as if I were doing a 360 degrees turn, to perceive everything that was around me. Even though I knew I was seeing everything at once. It felt like that. In other words, you can see it, but you already know what's around you. It's an omnidirectional view. It's to all sides. That was the sensation. While I was watching and feeling all that, in a state that seemed like ecstasy, I think the Hindus would call it nirvana, I started feeling an extremely strong citrus smell of orange.
Eu comecei a perceber cheiro extremamente forte e cítrico de laranja. Uma coisa
something absurdly fantastic.
fantástica. Era cheiro muito
It was a very pleasant smell. It smelled very good. It seemed to be taking over the space. And I was standing there watching, but I couldn't see anything to say, look, there's someone here. I couldn't figure that out. What I perceived was an expansion, freedom, consciousnesses. And that smell that suddenly invaded the place. A few seconds passed, then I realized. I could see the images of the place where that orange smell was coming from. And that was funny. It was like something far away, as if there were mist. You see very clearly through the mist, but you know that is just a space. You know when you turn to one side and see something through a lens. It was like that. And I saw the neighbor who lived in a house at the back. She was making orange jam. She was about 100 meters away, but the smell was there as if she were making it nearby. I kept watching her making the jam, and she was making it with great happiness. It was very funny. She was using orange peels. The pieces of orange peel. I was able to observe that. I could feel the whole environment that was around me. I could see consciousnesses. And this whole perception was such a feeling of freedom. One could say, I will never go back to the physical body again, because I'm having here a moment of absolute happiness. While I was in that movement, I felt that all of this was very special and I should use it to do something for people. I think that this projection in mental body contributed a lot for me to feel the need, and to really work to do something that could help all people. I began to realize more and more things. There was the woman who was handling the oranges, but I could already see people passing in the street. I could already see a car, and began to have amplitude. I thought, wow, this is endless. I wasn't having this relationship with the earth. I was there seeing all these images, without being in contact with the earth. It was simply an indescribable moment. Me, watching all this, I remember something crossed my mind. I thought, this is the infinite space of love. That's what I thought. But it occurred to me something else too, that maybe if I were inside the body, I could have that perception.
ter essa percepção. Por que eu não poderia dentro do corpo?
Why couldn't I inside the body? That's what I
Isso eu
thought.
pensei, né? Aí começou
Then,
de novo
that
aquele
hiss and noise
som,
started
aquele
again.
ruído, parecia que eu estava entrando dentro de uma,
It seemed I was getting inside a,
chama aquele,
what do you
de uma
call that?
britadeira,
A
e
jackhammer.
aí já estou no corpo
I was then in
astral,
the
né?
astral body.
O corpo astral começou
The
a
astral
girar,
body began
porque eu acho que
rotating, because I
eu
think I
saí de
got
um
out of a
nível,
level,
quando eu entrei
and
no
when I
acho que
entered
ele
it,
não
I
suportou,
don't think
comecei a
it could handle
girar,
it.
e aí entrei no
I
corpo
started
físico.
spinning, then I entered the physical
Essa entrada
body.
no corpo físico
That
foi
entry into the
marcada,
physical body was very strong, because I remember that I sat on
muito
the bed
forte,
and
porque
felt a bit sick.
eu lembro que eu sentei na cama e eu sentia um pouco
I think it changed me, the chakras. I thought,
mal-estar.
wow,
Acho
such a
que
happy thing, and
mexeu
I felt
com
that
os
way.
chakras.
A
Foi
few
um
seconds
negócio,
passed,
um negócio tão
maybe a minute
feliz, eu
or
me
so,
senti assim.
and I was back
Passados
to normal.
alguns segundos, talvez um
That's it.
minuto mais ou menos, e eu voltei
That's
ao
the end of the
normal.
story. It was an unforgettable moment and a
Aí
wonderful experience to
acabou a
me.
história, né? Mas foi um momento inesquecível, né? E uma experiência maravilhosa para mim. É isso.
Would you like to participate in a work of energy giving from afar that is benefiting thousands of people? Click on the link below for more information.